Imagine waking up one morning, checking your phone, and discovering that the job you've spent years mastering can now be done faster, cheaper, and around the clock by artificial intelligence. It sounds like something from a science fiction movie, but for millions of people around the world, this is becoming reality. Across industries, AI is transforming the way businesses operate. It writes reports, creates artwork, answers customer questions, analyzes legal documents, diagnoses diseases, and even generates computer code in seconds. Every month, new tools appear that perform tasks once thought impossible for machines. As these technologies improve, one question keeps surfacing in conversations everywhere. Will AI replace my job? It's a question that creates excitement for some and anxiety for others. Social media is filled with bold predictions. Some claim nearly every profession will disappear. Others insist AI is just another tool that will make workers more productive. The truth, however, is far more complex. History has shown that every major technological revolution changes the workforce. During the Industrial Revolution, machines replaced many forms of manual labor, but they also created entirely new industries. The invention of computers eliminated countless repetitive office tasks while giving birth to careers that never existed before. The internet reshaped global commerce and communication, opening opportunities that previous generations could never have imagined. Artificial intelligence may be the fastest and most significant transformation yet. Unlike previous technologies, AI doesn't only automate physical work. It can also perform cognitive tasks that once required human intelligence. It can summarize books, translate languages, analyze financial data, write marketing campaigns, generate realistic images, compose music, and assist in scientific research. Every improvement expands its capabilities. This raises an important question. If AI can learn almost any digital skill, what will remain uniquely human? To answer that, we first need to understand what AI actually does well and where it still struggles. Artificial intelligence excels at recognizing patterns. It processes enormous amounts of information far faster than any human could. It never gets tired, doesn't need breaks, and can instantly access vast libraries of knowledge. For repetitive, rule-based tasks, AI often performs with remarkable speed and consistency. But intelligence isn't only about processing information. Human beings rely on judgment, emotional understanding, creativity, ethics, cultural awareness, intuition, and personal relationships. While AI can imitate these qualities, genuine human experience remains difficult to replicate. Imagine visiting a doctor after receiving frightening medical test results. An AI might accurately explain the diagnosis, but many patients still value the reassurance, empathy, and trust that come from speaking with another human being. Or imagine a teacher encouraging a struggling student who has lost confidence. The lesson itself matters, but so does motivation, patience, and understanding each student's unique personality. Technology can assist these professions, but replacing the human connection is much more difficult. The future of work isn't simply about humans versus machines. It's about humans working alongside increasingly powerful tools. The challenge is identifying which jobs are most vulnerable, which careers are likely to evolve, and which professions may become even more valuable because of AI. Researchers, economists, and business leaders have spent years studying this question. While predictions differ, one pattern appears consistently. Jobs built around repetitive processes face the greatest risk. When work follows clear rules and predictable steps, AI can often learn those patterns quickly. For example, data entry once required thousands of employees manually transferring information between systems. Today, AI software can complete much of that work automatically. Basic bookkeeping tasks have become increasingly automated. Customer service chatbots now answer millions of routine questions every day. Translation software continues improving with each passing year. Even computer programming, once considered one of the safest careers, is changing as AI assists developers by writing and debugging code. This doesn't necessarily eliminate these professions overnight. Instead, fewer people may be needed to complete the same amount of work. A company that once hired 20 employees for repetitive administrative tasks may now need only 10, with AI handling the rest. This gradual shift has happened before throughout history. When ATMs became common, many people believed bank tellers would disappear completely. Instead, banks adapted. Employees spent less time counting cash and more time helping customers with financial services. Similarly, spreadsheets didn't eliminate accountants. Email didn't eliminate communication. The internet didn't eliminate shopping. Each innovation changed how people worked rather than removing every job entirely. AI will likely follow the same pattern, but on a much larger scale. The pace of change is what makes today's situation unique. In previous generations, technological revolutions unfolded over decades. Today, AI systems improve every few months. Capabilities that seemed impossible last year become standard features today. Businesses compete aggressively to adopt these tools because they reduce costs, improve efficiency, and increase productivity. For employers, the incentives are obvious. For workers, adaptation becomes essential. This doesn't mean everyone needs to become an AI engineer. In fact, many of the safest careers may have little to do with programming. Instead, resilience comes from developing skills that machines struggle to replicate. Critical thinking, leadership, creativity, emotional intelligence, negotiation, ethical decision-making, complex problem-solving. These abilities become more valuable as routine tasks become automated. Consider the role of a business leader. AI can generate reports and predict market trends, but deciding how to respond requires experience, judgment, and accountability. Or consider architects. AI can generate building designs within seconds, but understanding community needs, environmental concerns, client preferences, legal regulations, and aesthetic vision still requires human expertise. The same principle applies across countless industries. Rather than replacing professionals entirely, AI often becomes a powerful assistant. Lawyers increasingly use AI to analyze contracts faster. Doctors use AI to detect patterns in medical images. Engineers use AI to optimize designs. Writers use AI to brainstorm ideas. Scientists use AI to analyze massive datasets. Productivity increases, but human oversight remains essential. The people most likely to thrive are not necessarily those who resist AI. They are the ones who learn how to use it effectively. Throughout history, adaptability has always been one of humanity's greatest strengths. Farmers adapted to tractors. Factories adapted to robotics. Businesses adapted to computers. Today's workforce must adapt to artificial intelligence. The biggest mistake isn't using AI, it's assuming nothing will change. Some workers ignore these developments because their jobs feel secure today, but security based only on current demand can disappear surprisingly quickly. Industries evolve, consumer expectations change, technology advances. The skills that provide value today may not guarantee success tomorrow. At the same time, fear alone isn't productive either. Every technological revolution creates uncertainty, yet it also creates opportunity. The rise of AI is already generating entirely new careers. Prompt engineers, AI trainers, machine learning auditors, AI ethics specialists, automation consultants, human AI workflow designers. These jobs barely existed a few years ago. By 2030, many more professions will emerge that we cannot yet predict. That's why understanding long-term trends matters more than focusing on temporary headlines. Instead of asking whether AI will replace every job, a better question is this: which human abilities will become even more valuable in an AI-powered world? The answer may determine who thrives over the next decade. Because while machines continue becoming smarter, success will increasingly belong to people who combine technology with uniquely human strengths. And that's where the real story begins. In the next section, we'll examine the careers most at risk of automation by 2030, why experts believe these jobs are changing so rapidly, and what workers can do today to stay ahead before the next wave of AI transformation arrives. For decades, people believed that education alone guaranteed job security. Earn a degree, gain experience, work hard, and your career would remain stable for years. But artificial intelligence is changing that equation. Today, even highly educated professionals are discovering that technology can perform parts of their work in seconds. The important detail is this: AI rarely replaces an entire profession overnight. Instead, it replaces individual tasks. As more tasks become automated, companies begin asking a difficult question. If software can complete 70 or 80% of the workload, how many employees are still needed? That question is reshaping industries around the world. One of the first areas experiencing major disruption is customer support. Years ago, every large company depended on teams of representatives to answer common questions, reset passwords, process refunds, and help customers track orders. Now, AI-powered chatbots can respond instantly at any hour of the day. They understand natural language, search company databases within seconds, and solve many routine problems without human assistance. This doesn't mean customer service disappears completely. Complex complaints, emotional situations, and unusual requests still require experienced people. However, businesses may need fewer agents than before because AI handles the repetitive conversations. A similar transformation is happening in administrative work. Scheduling meetings, managing calendars, preparing reports, organizing documents, processing invoices. Many of these responsibilities can now be completed by intelligent software connected to company systems. Administrative professionals who once spent entire days on repetitive tasks are increasingly shifting toward coordination, planning, communication, and decision-making instead. The role evolves. The routine work shrinks. The same pattern appears in accounting. Modern AI systems can categorize expenses, identify unusual financial activity, reconcile transactions, and prepare financial summaries much faster than traditional software. Accountants are unlikely to disappear, but their daily responsibilities are changing. Instead of manually entering numbers into spreadsheets, professionals increasingly focus on financial strategy, tax planning, business consulting, and interpreting complex regulations. Human expertise becomes concentrated where judgment matters most. Legal services provide another fascinating example. Reviewing thousands of contracts once required teams of junior lawyers working long hours. Today, AI can scan massive collections of legal documents within minutes, identify key clauses, compare contracts, and flag potential risks. For law firms, this dramatically reduces research time. For clients, it lowers costs. But experienced attorneys remain essential because legal advice depends on interpretation, negotiation, ethics, and understanding each client's unique circumstances. Technology accelerates the process. Humans make the final decisions. Journalism is also entering a new era. Artificial intelligence can summarize events, organize information, generate headlines, and even draft simple news reports based on structured data, financial earnings reports, sports statistics, weather updates, election results. These are highly predictable formats that AI handles efficiently. However, investigative journalism is different. Interviewing witnesses, building trust with confidential sources, verifying evidence, understanding political and cultural context, holding powerful institutions accountable. These responsibilities require human judgment, curiosity, and courage. Readers value facts, but they also value credibility. That trust cannot be generated automatically. The marketing industry offers another example of rapid transformation. AI now creates advertising copy, email campaigns, social media posts, product descriptions, video scripts, and even promotional images within seconds. Small businesses that once hired large creative teams can now produce marketing materials much more quickly. Yet successful campaigns still depend on understanding human psychology. What inspires people? What builds emotional connection? What reflects a company's values? Those questions remain deeply human. The professionals who succeed won't compete against AI. They'll use AI to increase both speed and creativity. Software development has experienced one of the biggest surprises. For years, programming was considered one of the safest careers because computers couldn't program themselves. That assumption changed quickly. Today's AI coding assistants generate functions, explain code, fix errors, suggest improvements, and translate programs between different programming languages. Some developers now complete projects in half the previous time. This doesn't eliminate programmers. Instead, expectations rise. Companies may expect smaller teams to produce larger software systems. Future developers will spend less time writing repetitive code and more time designing systems, solving difficult problems, ensuring security, and making architectural decisions. Their role becomes more strategic. Healthcare tells a different story. Artificial intelligence has achieved impressive results in medical imaging. It can identify patterns in X-rays, MRIs, and CT scans that might otherwise be overlooked. It assists doctors by highlighting possible concerns for further review. In laboratories, AI analyzes huge volumes of medical data to help researchers discover patterns connected to diseases. Despite these advances, medicine remains fundamentally human. Doctors don't simply diagnose illness. They explain treatment options. They answer difficult questions. They comfort frightened families. They balance risks and benefits. They make ethical decisions under uncertainty. Patients seek expertise, but they also seek compassion. Technology supports physicians. It does not replace the relationship between doctor and patient. Education faces similar challenges. AI tutors can explain mathematics, correct grammar, answer science questions, and personalize lessons based on each student's progress. Students now have access to learning resources that previous generations could only dream about. Yet classrooms involve much more than delivering information. Teachers inspire curiosity, recognize emotional struggles, encourage teamwork, build confidence, manage different personalities, help children develop communication skills. Those experiences shape lives in ways no algorithm fully understands. Perhaps the most surprising lesson from all these industries is that intelligence alone isn't enough. Many people assumed creativity would always remain uniquely human. Then AI began producing artwork, composing music, generating videos, writing stories, and designing logos. At first glance, this seemed to threaten artists and designers, but the reality proved more complicated. Artificial intelligence creates content based on patterns learned from enormous collections of existing work. Human creators contribute something different: original vision, personal experience, cultural understanding, emotional authenticity. The most successful creative professionals increasingly treat AI as a collaborative tool rather than a competitor. They generate ideas faster, experiment with more concepts, refine their work efficiently. The human imagination remains at the center of the process. This reveals an important principle. The future isn't divided into jobs AI can do and jobs AI cannot do. Instead, every profession exists on a spectrum. Some tasks become automated. Others become more valuable because humans perform them. Workers who understand this distinction gain a significant advantage. Instead of fearing automation, they ask a better question. Which parts of my work create the greatest value? Those are the skills worth strengthening: communication, leadership, adaptability, decision-making, relationship building, creative thinking, strategic planning, ethical reasoning. These abilities become increasingly important as AI handles routine work. Another trend is becoming impossible to ignore. Companies are no longer hiring only for technical expertise. They're hiring people who can work effectively with AI. Imagine two employees with similar experience. One refuses to use new technology because it's unfamiliar. The other understands how to combine human judgment with AI tools to complete projects faster while maintaining quality. Which employee becomes more valuable? The answer is becoming clearer every year. Learning how to collaborate with artificial intelligence may become just as important as learning how to use computers was in the early 2000s. Businesses don't simply want workers. They want adaptable problem solvers. And adaptability has always been one of the strongest predictors of long-term career success. The workforce of 2030 will likely look very different from today's. Some familiar jobs will shrink. Others will transform completely. Entirely new professions will emerge. The people who prepare now won't simply survive these changes. They may discover opportunities that previous generations never imagined possible. But while some careers face increasing uncertainty, others appear remarkably resilient. In fact, several professions may become even more valuable as artificial intelligence continues advancing, and some of those careers might surprise you. In the next part, we'll explore the jobs experts believe are most likely to survive and even thrive in the age of artificial intelligence, revealing the skills that could remain in high demand well beyond 2030.